Welcome to Texas All-Star Wrestling. Steve Stack here at ringside. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got an exciting, action-packed hour lined up for you today. You'll be seeing El Madril going into the ring here on Texas All-Star Wrestling. He takes on Nick Kaniski. The fabulous Texan, that's Big Bob Duncum, returns. He'll be going in the ring against Bill Rathke. The Midnight Cowgirl will be here, and she tells us she's got a few surprises as she shows us some highlights from a match where the Hitman took on the Golden Boy, and of course, the Midnight Cowgirl was there at ringside along with Miss Fantasy. You don't want to miss that action. We're going to take you back and show you a look also of a new man coming into Texas All-Star Wrestling, being brought here by none other than, you guessed it, Gary Hart. We'll show you that on our Texas All-Star Wrestling close-up today at the American Ninja in a martial arts demonstration. If you haven't seen the American Ninja yet, you don't want to miss that. Killer Brooks will be out later on Texas All-Star Wrestling. Whether Gary Hart will be in his corner, we don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. The Georgia Strongman, Dale Beasley, the USA Junior Heavyweight Champion, will make an appearance. Plus, I want to tell you, we're going to go out to Fantasy's home and spend a little time with her and the Golden Boy and see just what goes on and see if we can get the real side of the story. That's her side as she fills us in on the Patterson family. The Japanese force against the American force. Don't go away. It's all coming right after this. Texas All-Star Wrestling returns to Waco at the Convention Center on Wednesday, December the 11th, 7:30 starting time. Main event, the U.S. title, which has been held up, will be on the line in Waco as Chavo Guerrero battles it out with El Madril, the winner to be the new U.S. heavyweight champion. There are no disqualifications in that match. It's going to be tape fist. El Madril not allowed to wear the glove, plus special referee, the Cowboy Scott Casey. The Golden Boy with Miss Fantasy meets the Hitman with the Midnight Cowgirl. Plus the belts versus the mask. The American Force against the Hoods. Other exciting matches. Advance tickets, Marcy's Hamburger, that number 754-3821. And that's Wednesday, December 11th, 7:30, Convention Center, Waco, Texas. Texas All-Star Wrestling. American Force, the belts on the line against the mask of the Hoods.
Yes, Steve, you know, in the time that the Force has been in Texas, we made very few promises. But the promises that we have made, we have delivered. We said we win these belts, and here they are in our possession. Well, people, now, and seeing that it is the last show before Christmas, we got a Christmas present for you. We're promising you the hoods, the masks of those hoods are coming off in Waco. Bring your cameras. You want to see what they look like? You will in Waco.
Thank you very much, Paul Diamond, the American Force, along with Shawn Michaels. They put their titles on the line against the mask of the Hoods, and here are the Hoods.
Force, in case you didn't know, there's three things you don't do. You don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit in the wind, and you don't try to take the mask off the hood. So, boys, you bring it on down, polish those belts, because all we're going to do is beat you, humiliate you, and take back what's rightfully ours. Right. And when we get done doing that in front of the people in Waco, we got a little present for you. We know you're going to be embarrassed, so we went ahead and bought you a plane ticket so you can leave with your head down and your tail between your legs, like the dogs that you are. Boy, we'll see you later. The belts are coming home. Get used to it, people.
From Austin, Texas, weighing 303 pounds, Bob Duncum.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard Bill Merriman announce Bill Rathke, but Rathke is not here, and look who comes out. It's the Russian Torchenko, Armand Hussein, here with me.
Well, all I can say is one thing, is that Russian is in here as some of Skandor Akbar's maneuvers. You can rest assured on that.
Well, I know Skandor Akbar is going to be here next week, and it looks like he sent the Russian in to get rid of the fabulous Texan, Bobby Duncum.
Well, I got but one thing to say. Bobby Duncum, as you know, is a Texan. And whenever he goes after a man, he goes after him.
And now the Russian is left.
Well, you see, it happened down in Florida some time ago, when the Russian broke his knee real bad. And Bobby Duncum said that wherever it would be, he would get the man back. And so that's why he's here. And the Russian is the man. And so this is why he's here in the area.
Well, Skandor Akbar evidently behind, sending the Russian in the ring to attack Bobby Duncum when Bill Rathke was scheduled. And now, ladies and gentlemen, The Midnight Cowgirl has joined us here on Texas All-Star Wrestling after watching the Russian run in there. I'll tell you, it's good to have you here today.
Thank you, Rapido. I really appreciate it. I had to come out here and talk to you about fantasy and that Mike Golden and my little brother David and Jimmy. And I wanted to tell you about what happened at the match when David, my little brother, met Mike Golden.
That's the last time they met, and I know it was a real tough fight.
It was pretty bad for a while, Steve. Rapido, you know what happened? Fantasy always gets involved. You cannot keep that girl where she's supposed to be. She's always carrying a bag. She's always carrying something, and she's always interfering. And Steve, I don't know what happened, but when she jumped in there, she started hitting my little brother over the back with that bag that she carries. I don't know. I went crazy. I started thinking about Jimmy.
That's your normal reaction. You just got to jump in there and do what you can.
Well, I tell you, I started thinking about Jimmy because all I can see is Jimmy sitting there in the wheelchair, you know, and poor thing, I don't know what to do about it. So I jumped in there, and all I could see was red, Steve. So I dropped off this belt, and I started beating the tar out of her, Steve. I tell you, she disappeared pretty fast, but you know what happened? She started hiding behind Golden. And you know what happens when she hides behind Golden? You can't get to her.
It seems like every time you go after her, she figures a way to get out of it.
That's right. She's always gone. But I'll tell you, Steve, I got a little bitty surprise for that Miss Fantasy.
What is it?
Well, I'll tell you about it, Steve. Steve, I think you heard about it. I have a little surprise. Can I tell everybody, Steve?
You want to tell us now?
Well, I think I'll wait, Steve, and I'll show everybody.
Oh, well, now you're going to make us wait.
Yeah, I'll make you wait, Steve, because it's going to be wonderful. There's no way that Fantasy can get away this time. I don't care if Mike Golden's there or not, and I'm there to protect my little brother. I tell you what, Steve, it's going to be a barn burner.
Thank you very much, Midnight Cowgirl.
You're welcome.
I can't wait now, but I'll see you later on here on Texas All-Star Wrestling, and we'll find out what the big surprise for the Fantasy is. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we want to show you coming up now a man who is coming to Texas All-Star Wrestling, being brought here by none other than Gary Hart. They've been friends for a long time. And 10 years ago, they were in an airplane accident, and Gary Hart pulled this man out of Tampa Bay and actually saved his life. And he's coming in here to help Gary Hart with his problems on Texas All-Star Wrestling. Let's take a look at Austin Idol.
The entire television crew is on the road. We'll be taping that program from the City Coliseum. And if you've never watched a television taping of any program, come on by. You'll enjoy it. And you'll also be able to watch yourself on television on the Texas All-Star Wrestling Network the following weekend. A lot of great matches lined up for you. World Classes Chris Adams will be there to take on the Cowboy Scott Casey. You'll say Killer Brooks standing right here behind me, going into the ring against the One Man Gang. Bruiser Brody. Well, the television cameras are there. You know he's going to be there as he's going to wrestle two men. Also, Big Bubba will team up with the One Man Gang and Bobby Duncum. Bobby makes his home right there in Austin to take on the Russian, Hacksaw Higgins, and Zambui Express. Other great matches, so don't miss the television program taping at the City Coliseum right here in Austin this Sunday. Bruiser Brody, I thought I knew you for the past 12 years in professional wrestling, but how could you be associated with the likes of Gary Hart?
You get the message, Steve? He doesn't want to speak to you. I'm his manager and his advisor, and I'm completely trusted by him. If there's anything you want to know, why don't you talk to the man that can tell you?
Well, maybe you can explain to me and all these fans out there who are wondering exactly like I am. This was one of the biggest things that ever happened. You've been telling us for weeks that you had a surprise. There's been talk around the wrestling world, but nobody has ever really confirmed what you were talking about. And what did it take to get Bruiser Brody into your side?
Well, to answer your first question first, number one, I don't really care what you think or some nitwit or moron out there thinks. I could care less what anybody thinks. Your second question was, how did I do it? What rumors have you heard?
Well, I heard rumors from the likes of General Skandor Akbar and other men who are well known around the professional wrestling world that you were working on a big deal through Japan.
That's exactly right. And I tell you what came about. Tim Brooks and I, maybe 5-6 weeks ago, we were at my home and we were looking at some tapes that Tim Brooks had brought back from Japan. And lo and behold, up on the screen came Bruiser Brody and Killer Tim Brooks in a tag match in Japan. And I said, Brooks, how in the world did you become Bruiser Brody's tag team partner? How would Bruiser Brody sign to be your tag team partner? And Tim Brooks told me that the highest paid athlete ever to appear in Japan, no matter what you've heard, because I've had a chance to see it in writing, Bruiser Brody. No one makes as much money in Japan as Bruiser Brody, and Brooks told me that's why it happened, and click, it went in my head. I said, wonder how much I would have to give the Bruiser to get him to stand beside Gary Hart. And it was a considerable amount of money.
Well, would you mind telling us exactly how much money it was? Are we talking of $100,000?
Check it out.
$1 million?
$1 million for 1 year. Flip it over and see who signed it.
It's Bruiser Brody. That means it's paid in full. I guess he got his $1 million in his pocket already.
He's well taken care of because you and this Maurice Rose and this Fred Barron put me in a cage and was going to feed me to One Man Gang, was going to feed me to Big Bubba. And I told you, and I told the nitwit Barron, that nobody is going to put me in jeopardy. So I took the killer's advice. I got myself on an airplane and I flew to Tokyo. And I went up and knocked on Bruiser Brody's door and I made him a proposition that he couldn't say no to. And I said, Bruiser, what would it take? He looked at me like only Bruiser Brody can do. And he held up one finger. I said, 100,000? He said, no. 1 million. For $1 million, my services for a year. And don't worry, whatever happens in San Antonio when you're in that cage, no matter what the outcome, Big Bubba or Moon, either one, will harm a hair on your head. And you were sitting ringside, and I don't have a lot of hair on my head, but I wasn't harmed, was I?
No, you weren't. And Bruiser Brody, if I could ask you, does this mean you'll be traveling now being the enforcer for Gary Hart?
Don't you understand? Are you a complete nitwit?
I've known
Number one,
this
you
man
asked
for a
me to
long
come
time.
here, and I said I would. Now you're trying to stir trouble. The man is the $1 million dollar man, $1 million from my pocket into his pocket. Now I don't have to worry about nothing.
Let me ask him. Now, if somebody comes along with a little more money, does that mean you just walk out on Gary Hart?
Steve Stacks, I'm telling you, and I want to make this perfectly clear, I don't have to worry about Big Bubba. I don't have to worry about the one-man gang. I don't have to worry about Wahoo McDaniels. I don't have to worry about nothing. I have carte blanche. If I want to slap somebody's face, I can do it because the Bruiser says I can. If I want to stomp you in your face, I can do it because the Bruiser says I can. Because I put my money where my mouth is. I'm not a lowlife like you and Fred Barron. I put my money up front, and I get what I want, and I think every dollar of that million was well earned. Because you know what I can do now that I have Bruiser, Brody? Anything I want to do, it ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Well, let me ask Bruiser Brody one more question.
Hey, I work for Gary Hart, and he pays me real good money.
Little man,
Watch him up, brother.
did you get the message, little man? It would have been just as easy for him to crack your neck, Steve Stacks. So if I was you, I would keep your nose out of our business. And Fred Barron, bring 'em all. Get your Wahoo McDaniels, get your one-man gang, and get your Big Bubba. But what else you better get? You better get yourself a hospital. Because I'm telling you, he's gonna cripple so many that you're gonna need it just to supply the bandages and the tapes and the gauze. It's gonna be 1 year of blood and glory.
Texas All-Star Wrestling in Austin Pacific Coliseum on Sunday, December the 22nd, 7:30 p.m. Our television crew is on the road, and our entire television program will be taped in Austin via Bart's TV program. Bruiser Brody will be there. Chris Adams from World Class, the Cowboy Scott Casey, the Hitman, the Golden Boy with the girls, and the Penalty Box. The American Force, Big Bubba, and more. Tickets at the Coliseum the day of the match. Kids under 12, only $3 general admission.
Pounds, Bill Rathke and Mike Stone. Their opponents at a combined weight of 907 pounds from Halstead Street, Chicago, the One-Man Gang. And from Huntington, West Virginia, Big Bubba.
Well, Big Bubba, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got a surprise for you about Big Bubba. Big Bubba is the new U.S. heavyweight champion as he defeated El Madrid for the title, which is held up. And Bubba is the new U.S. heavyweight champion. So I know you'll want to congratulate Bubba when you see him. But right now it's Bubba and a one-man gang. Again, Bill Rathke and Mike Scott. And there's the shoulder knocking Scott down. Don't forget, our big main event yet to come. Kamala and Sambu Express will be teaming up. Bubba with a hip toss. And we will be in Austin with our television program on Sunday the 22nd. One of the big main events you'll be seeing there, we'll have Chris Adams against Scott Casey for our television program next week. Gary Hart.
I just want to say something. Number one, you're out here throwing all these bouquets at the one-man gang and Big Bubba, and they're out here beating up two guys right at 300 pounds. Well, let me say this to you. The 22nd, Sunday night, Austin, Texas. I would like to offer this guy, Rathke, and this big boy, Mike Scott Stone, whatever his name is, and I make you a bet. The 22nd in Austin, you get them to show up. Bruiser Brody will beat them both, and beat them both quicker than the two of these guys can get the job done. And if they don't, I'll give an extra grand. That's what I think of Big Bubba, and that's what I think of one man.
Oh, look at this train.
Oh, very impressed.
Look at the one-man gang and Big Bubba. You ought to be,
Well, why
because they
don't
would
you
like
look-
to do that to you.
Why don't you look at the head of the one-man gang and see the face of this Big Bubba when they see Brody coming? When Big Bruiser Brody come, they ain't so tough.
He
Keep the
caught him
time.
one time by surprise. There's a big splash. Wait a minute.
You tell me the time, and I'm telling you the price.
Here comes another big splash with Gary Hart's leaving out. Keep the time. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3. They have double splash. That's 900 and get down for Gary Hart. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. We wait for the one-man gang and Big Bubba to come up here. I want to tell you that Texas All-Star Wrestling television program on the road Sunday, December the 22nd, Austin. Big Bubba, the one-man gang, and Bobby Duncum will be teaming up on that television program to take on the Russian, the Zambui Express, and the Hacksaw Higgins. Plus, you'll see Scott Casey against Chris Adams, and Bruiser Brody will be at the television program next week, all coming to you from the City Coliseum in Austin today. Big Bubba, one-man gang, as they make their way in here. Bubba, first of all, we'd like to congratulate you on being the new U.S. heavyweight champion.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I'll tell you there's something that made me feel more helpless than watching my good friend here after I got hit from the back by Bruiser Brody. Locked in a cage like an animal, unable to help but watching him get his head kicked in. I just can't describe how I felt.
Fans saw that one-man gang, and I know...
Well, Bubba, let me tell you, brother, you don't have to feel bad about nothing because he bushwhacked you from behind. And let me tell you, it will never, ever happen again, you hear me?
Yeah.
So don't feel bad. Just get tough and get mean, Bubba. And Gary Hart, when I found out it was Bruiser Brody to come out there, I knew that you'd paid a lot of money for Bruiser Brody. And there's something you never talk about, something you never mention to anybody else. What Gary Hart don't have, I know this for a fact because we lived in the same town. What he don't have, he gets from his mama. Because his mama's one of the wealthiest women in Chicago. I was over there scratching out a living, and he was living in a fancy house. He had chauffeur limousines. He had maids. He had servants. So what he don't have, he gets from his mama.
$1 million to his mama, they tell me, wouldn't be too much.
No, $1 million. That'd be like me throwing a penny away. It don't mean nothing to a woman. Well, Gary Hart, the next time we meet, it's going to be 3 against 3 because me and Bubba have a little surprise for your men. Count on it.
And that 3-on-3 may come over on our television program next week. Stay tuned because our main event with Kamala, the Ugandan Giant, teaming up with the Zambui Express, coming up right after this. The Ugandan Savage. A knee up by the Zambui, and Kamala threw Duncum into it, and they begin to pound. Oh, they're working on that rib area, which is already injured. Also, I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the 6-man tag team championship is the Texas Tag Team Championship. That's a 6-man Texas Tag Team Championship is coming to Texas All-Star Wrestling very soon. Watch for it. And also in January, that big Texas Cup for 10 days in Texas. The Zambui Express in there now. Headbutt. Bobby Duncum has been taking a beating as he tags out now to Tom Jones. Duncum holds the Zambui as Jones comes in swinging. Tom Jones catches a big forearm from the Zambui Express. As he throws him across that top rope and he tags out. In comes Kamala. Chop to the head. The Zambui turns him around. Here comes the Zambui. Oh! They squeeze him between Kamala and the Zambui Express. There's Kamala's 411 pounds down on top of Tom Jones. It's all over. 1, 2, 3. Hey, there's that silver object I've been warned about that the Zambui's been pulling out of his trunks and using to punish wrestlers with, and it has come into the ring now. Very shiny object. There's no doubt about it. You can see it. He takes it to the top of the head of Bobby Duncum. Akbar's already been fined earlier for his actions. $500 by the referee, and he's going to get some more here tonight. Well, General, those two men getting completely out of control. You've already been fined $500 tonight. You may get more.
You've just seen a sample. Only a small sample of the Zambui Express and Kamala, the Ugandan savage. You talk about your American force. Well, what a tag team combination I've got. And that goes for...
Well, you think this is bigamy, right? This is bigamy,
I
isn't
really
it?
don't want to say what I think about it.
Well, you don't. You telling me that this is wrong? And by the way, you two guys, you accepted my $500 apiece. Rathke, you accepted. And also, Scott, you accepted. You know something? I'm going to be so nice. You guys got two of these? We need like a bunk bed. Because Bruiser Brody is going to do it quicker than the moon.
The time was 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
3 minutes? You don't count time. Once before we had a problem with time, didn't we? Just let me say this. Rathke and Scott, I'm going to have two of them there for you. And anybody else that messes with Brody, they're going to take the ride, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Bigamy,
Bruiser Brody will be on our main event next week, along with Scott Casey and Chris Adams, and Gary Hart will be well represented
and
next
Moon,
week.
you keep your name away from my mother. She is not mentioned in the wrestling business. She's a lady, and you're not.
We'll be coming to you from the City Coliseum in Austin, Texas next week. Till then, on behalf of Rapido Rodriguez and the Spanish Network, this is Steve Stack saying so long for Texas All-Star Wrestling.